All right, so tonight's project night, we're going to be building a stereo subwoofer box. So I have a home theater, and inside of it, I used to have a wall subwoofer speaker, which was then powered by this independent subwoofer amplifier. And that was cool and all, but eventually then I put stone over where the subwoofer used to be, and I didn't want to put the subwoofer back. So now I need to build an enclosure for the subwoofer. And instead of using MDF, I had some leftover Trex, which is really dense, from my deck that I was building. So Trex, interesting. So if you look at the density of MDF and you look at the density of Trex, Trex is about twice as dense as MDF. And so it's going to make a really heavy enclosure that shouldn't vibrate much. And hopefully I'll be able to get the cavity size correct based on the amount of lumber that I have available left. And well, we'll see what happens. I'm going to give it my best shot.
So if you've never built a subwoofer enclosure or a speaker enclosure at all, you can actually go to, just search Google for subwoofer enclosure calculator. I use Subbox Pro, but essentially it is a 3D modeler and shows you a very basic subwoofer enclosure design. So you can go in here and you can change your subwoofer size, you can change your port, whether it's a pipe or a slot, and then you can change your width and height, and then it will calculate your depth based on a fixed internal volume. And then from that you can basically create your box. I went a little bit off of this design. I also had to make it a little smaller because I didn't have enough Trex in order to meet this design, but it's a good starting point for anybody looking to do this.
Either way, they're pretty sweet. overall this build went really well, and so I'm pretty happy with how dense this case turned out and the sound that we're getting. So now the fun part, testing the vibrations. So on any subwoofer enclosure, you don't want the case to move, but you want the element to move. And so let's power this thing up to full power and see whether or not we can see vibration on the case. I got an M&M here. It's not moving. Those guys are, though. Sounds good. All right, thanks for watching Startup Chuck. Please make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.
The telltale heart. Boop, 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 boop. Shut off the engines.